Hey, what's going on, fish fans? Capt.Rex here from Third Alarm Fishing. Gonna film a quick video on how to snell a hook. So your circle hook is probably best served when you snell the end of it in order to turn the barb of that hook when there's action pulled on the leader or from the main. So I'm going to show you what works for me. There's probably a different way to do it, but what works for me in order to tie it the quickest and most efficient way possible is to do it the following way. So I'm going to pan down and show you what I'm working with. So this is just probably a 5 or 6/0 circle hook. And what I've done, this is just 50-pound mono. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the eye of the hook. And then I want to double back around and go right back through the eye of the hook again. Alright, so you're going through the same direction twice. And then what I've found is if I point the tag end with the end of the hook facing this direction to my right, and then I hold that tag in place, if you notice that the main line comes from the main, and I want to grab this portion of this loop right here, okay? In other words, not the other end going to the tag through the hook. I want to take the part that is the side of the loop that comes from the main, okay? And so with a little bit of tag end overflowing the end of the hook, like so, I go ahead and take this end of that loop going back to the main, and I sort of pinch the end of the hook right there, and then I'm going to make wraps around the hook end towards the eye of the hook. And I do that by sequentially just making wraps, and then I hold those wraps with my finger and thumb. So let me demonstrate. 1, and then I hold it in place. 2, wrapping backwards down the shank. You make sure that you're coming down in the same direction. 2. Keep tension with this line too that you have in your hands. 3, 4, 5. If you want to keep pulling on this end of that loop, if not, the wraps will come undone. 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 or 9 times. Now, obviously, you're gonna find your own way to do this, but 9 times should be sufficient. And if not, you're anything more than that, you're probably gonna start finding it difficult to hold the tension on what you just wrapped. So go ahead and stop there once you have a good number of turns on it. Hold that tension down and pinch those wraps, and then you want to pull this tag end. I just grab it with my teeth and pull a little bit. Pull a little bit more, just to take up the slack. And then I go ahead and make a couple of wraps on the main, and I pull tension back towards the shank, and that's just going to tighten up right there. And so again, I hook my thumb through the hook, and I pull on the main, and that's going to make a nice tight wrap right around the end of the shank. Let me hold that still for you. See there? Yeah. And so the effect of that is that you see how that line comes through the eye, and when you pull, it's sort of pulling a turning action on the hook. So instead of pulling straight up the shank of the hook like this to pull the hook up, it actually promotes that circle form of the hook by pulling sideways and putting that barb of the hook directly in the corner of the fish's mouth. So that's the main advantage of using circle hooks. You don't want to gut hook these fish, and we're going to basically put as least amount of damage on the fish as possible in case it is undersized or the wrong type of species you're going for. And you want it easy to get the hook out when you land your fish. So go ahead and trim your tag end. Not your finger. Ouch. And then there you are. A perfectly snelled hook. You can probably trim up that tag end just a little bit more. And that's going to be a perfectly snelled hook, just like so. Alright, hope hopefully you found that informative and helpful. There's probably more. There's a ton of videos online, and we're just going to round out a couple of series of how to make hooks, leaders, types of equipment, different techniques for fishing, different types of fish. Hope you're finding my channel informative, and as well, please like up, subscribe, and share out my video if you're finding it useful. Thanks a lot. Capt.Rex with Third Alarm Fishing.